Hey, welcome everybody. Here we are replaying our 1985 Statis Pro Dice Yankees season, and I believe we're game 42. I believe off the top of my head, 42 or 43. You can look that up. It's the California Angels at the Yankees at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, and up to bat it's going to be Reggie Jackson, the one-time Yankee, one-time A's, one-time Baltimore Oriole, who's now plays out the remaining part of his career, I believe, with California. He plays till 88 or 89, I believe, and he's up now. We were using iScore on the phone because I started this season when I was on vacation, and all I only had access to my phone, so it's hard for me to broadcast these games because then I have to do the score sheet by hand, and then later I have to transfer it into the phone so to keep the stats. But we have a pretty good game going here. It's top of the seventh. The score is 2-2. On the mound for the Yankees is Joe Cowley. He's a right-hander, and at the plate is the Reggie Jackson, Mr. October. So let's roll. We're using dice here. It's a little bit different. And that's going to be 11, so that's going to be off the batter's card because Cowley is a 2-7 PB. So if it's within 2-7, then it's off the pitcher's card. So this is going to be off Jackson's card. That's a 52, and that's going to be a strikeout. Jackson swings through the high hard one for a K. One away now. The next batter is Rupert Jones. He's a left-handed batter. He's got good power. And that's going to be a 66. So, or a 6 rather, and that's going to be off Cowley's card because it's within the 2-7 PB range. I'm using 2D6 and 2D8. It's going to be a 45 off Cowley, and a 45 is going to be a pass ball, so we're going to re-roll. Re-roll both on here. That's a 7, again off Cowley, and that's a 12. Now, Cowley's a right-handed batter, and Jones is a lefty, so that had Jones been a righty, it would be a righty-righty result at that number. Hey, man, good morning. How are you, brother? Morning. Hey, UK. Sounds good, man. Sounds great. Love it. Been there a couple times. Okay, so that's a 12 off of, we said it was Cowley's card, and that's going to be a line drive single to left. That's a single to left, and that's going to reduce, you can't see it, but that reduces the pitcher's points by 1. Cowley's got 7 now, and Rupert Jones is on with a single. And since it was out on the pitcher's card, we're not going to look at the errors. So you play it just like you would a normal game. Now, Rupert Jones is a SPD, which is basically his speed, is base stealing speed. So at a D, we're not going to really try to steal. I'll steal with C's and B's and A's. All right, here's the pitch, if you will. 6, it's off Cowley's card again to Bobby Grich, and that's a 35, and that's going to take us into a base on balls range on Cowley's card. A 35 is right there, and that reduces Cowley by 1 again. And now this is trouble because the Angels have first and second with only 1 out. And it's Jerry Narron, a left-handed batter. It's 2-2 here in the top of the 7th at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. You take the D train and you get off at 161st Street, and you can join the action live. In 1985, it'll cost you probably $20 to get a decent seat. That's a 9, so that's going to be off Narron's card. And that's a 55. It's going to take us to the out range. We're going to pull a card. It's LP. LP out is going to be an F3, so that's pop up to the first baseman. And that's 2 outs now. And now it's Jack Howell. He's a left-handed batter. Third base for the Angels. And that keeps on rolling. That's going to be a 5. So that's Cali got lucky there. So that's going to be off his card. And that's a 67. And that looks like it's going to be in Cali's out range. We're going to pull. It's an LP. The batter is an LP. So we're going to look under the LP in the out range here. And it's going to be a ground ball to shortstop. Now, it's going to be a fielder's choice because there's an X there. And if there could be an error, so it's a ground ball to shortstop Andre Robertson for the Yankees. He's filling in for their regular day shortstop Meacham, and it says no error. So that's the end of the inning, and Robertson goes to Randolph for the force. 6-4, out number 3, and starting next inning for the Angels, it'll be Craig Gerber. Now we're going to go to Yankees, and it's going to be, who's coming to bat for the Yanks? It's going to be Dan Pasqua, lefty. Now on the mound for the Angels is a kid named Ron Romanek, and that's going to be a 5, so it's off Romanek's card. And it's a 23, 5-23, and that ball is lined to right. Dan Pasqua gets a hold of one and pulls it. That's going to reduce Romanek by 1 and put Pasqua on at first with a single. So Pasqua singles to lead off the bottom of the 7th. He's on at first. Not really much of a base stealer. You can look at his card. I just do it from memory. It's a SPE, so that's not very good. But he's not a bad base runner at a B. All right, so it's Butch Weiniger. That's a 5. That's off Romanek's card. An 82. That's going to be an out. Weiniger is a switch normal. Switch normal is a ground ball 6, a G6. So that's going to be a potential double play. That's never good to get something going. And it's a 9 or 10. Now I highly doubt that Gerber is a 9 or 10 at short, and he is not. He played 53 games there, and he's a 3. So that's going to be a 6-4-3 double play. There's 2 outs now. And it's Mike Pagliarulo. So on my right, I'm keeping the scorecard from the 7th inning on. I didn't want to have to later transfer all the data for the whole 9 innings, so I decided I'll pick up the game in the 7th inning. It's Mike Pagliarulo, the third baseman, power-hitting third baseman for the Yanks. He's got a 20 home run numbers from 24 to 31. In one of my earlier videos, I screwed up, and if you watch it, you'll see it where I got so excited about calling the home run that I didn't double check, and I gave him a home run on 33, which was should have been a strikeout. So anyway, we got nobody on. We got Pagliarulo with 2 outs at the plate. Lefty swinging. That's a 3. That's going to be off of Romanek's card, and an 84. That's going to be an out. An LP. That's what Pagliarulo is, a lefty pull hitter, and that's going to be a ground ball to second. There could be an error there. We'll see. At second is Rob Wilfong for the California Angels, and there's no error. So it's a 4-3. And that's it for the bottom of the 7th. It's a 2-2 tie here. We go to the top of the 8th. It's going to be Craig Gerber, the shortstop, facing Joe Cali. I figured out how I can roll this. So that's going to be off Gerber's card, a 12. Now, I'm not using the BD or the CD. You could. There's actually rules for that, and if you want them, it's on one of my videos. Somebody sent them to me. So that's going to be a 12, which is off of Gerber's card. It's a 74. That's going to be in the out range, 37 to 88. He's an LN, or lefty normal, and that's going to be a ground ball to third base. Pagliarulo up with it, and he makes the throw. Out number 1 here in the top of the 8th inning. And the lineup comes back around. Gary Pettis, the center fielder for the Angels. Good speed, very good speed. Good ball player. And that's off of Cali's card. It's a 56. That's going to be in the out range. He's a switch normal. It's going to be popped up. And that's a shortstop calling for it. out number 2. And next is Rob Wilfong, second baseman. Played 69 games at second base. That's a 9. That's going to be off Wilfong's card. And a 35. A 35, that's going to put us into the K. Oh, no, misses the K range and into the out range. LN, lefty normal. And it's a ground ball he pulls a grounder to first base. And up with it is Mattingly. Takes it himself. 3 unassisted. Out number 3. We go to bottom of the 8th now. 2-2 tie. Pretty good ball game. Andre Robertson is going to lead it off for the Yanks. And that's a 4. That's going to be off Romanek. The pitcher, 68. It's going to be in the out range, and a righty normal hitter is Robertson, and that's going to be popped up to the catcher. 1 away, and we turn the lineup over. It's going to be Rickey Henderson, the Rickey Henderson, leading it off for the Yanks. The Yanks had a pretty good ball club here in '85, but names on a roster doesn't make, a World Series team. So that's going to be again off Romanek, and that's a 21. That's going to be trouble off Romanek. That's line center field, base hit for Rickey Henderson off the pitcher's card. So that's going to reduce Romanek by 1, but we won't have to look for the error. So not the guy you want to have on base. Henderson is an A speed, which makes him a very good base stealer, and he's not going to take up. It's not going to take long to run. That's a 61. And you look on the base stealing chart on the upper left-hand corner of this big green board, a 61. Runner out if catcher is TA or TB. So who's catching? It's going to be Jerry Narron. So this is, let's see what Jerry Narron is. I sometimes, actually the score sheet gives me an opportunity to write all this stuff, but I don't write all this stuff. He's a TB. You can see it right there. So he guns out Henderson. Great throw. 2 away. So Henderson is caught stealing for out number 2. And it's Willie Randolph with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. And that's a 6, again, off Romanek's card. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th. Willie Randolph, the batter, 84. It's going to be an out range. And Willie is a right-hander normal. And RN is a fly ball center field. Pettis back. Makes the catch. Nice running catch by Pettis for out number 3. We go to the top of the 9th now. In the top of the 9th, it's going to be Downing, Jackson, and Jones. Cowley's still in the ball game. Both starting pitchers are still in there. That's the nice thing about 85. You can do that a little bit more. So that's going to be off Cowley's card. And that's going to be a 67 against Downing. That's going to be in the out range. Downing is an RP, right-handed pull. That's a G5, so it's a grounder to Pagliarulo at third. He's up with it, guns it to first, and throws out Downing, out number 1. Next is going to be Reggie Jackson, Mr. October. That's a 6. That's off Callie's card. Callie's 2-7. That's a 47. A 47 is going to be in Callie's out range. Jackson's a left-handed pull hitter, and he lifts a deep fly ball to right field. Back goes Winfield to the track and makes the catch. Next is Rupert Jones. That's a 4. That's off Callie. And that's a 31. That's a strikeout. Curveball gets Jones. So that's the top. That's the end for the top of the 9th. We go to the bottom of the 9th now. And Romanek is still on the mound for the Angels, right-handed starter. And, you know, the one thing what's unique about Statis Pro is that they don't give you a lot of information on the players, you know, on the card. They could have packed the card in maybe a little bit tighter and maybe added, you know, his batting average and his home runs and his RBIs and a little bit of something just to give you an idea of what his ability is, because you really need to have access to the stats to know how to manage and what's going on and who they are, and just to mention a little bit about, you know, the season they had in '85. It would be nice, but I guess it's less is more with Statis Pro. It's a really good game. It flows very nicely, and it gives you nice results. But I don't know if I question whether they could have maybe used the card a little bit more frugally with the information that they put there, and just gave you a little space there for. What do you think? Less was more in the 80s. Yeah. All right. So then it's going to be Don Mattingly leading it off for the Yankees, left-handed hitting first baseman. That's a 7, so that's going to be off Romanek. 18, and that's line center field, base hit for Mattingly. That reduces Romanek by another one and puts Mattingly on at first. Now, Mattingly doesn't have any real speed, so he's going to stay put at first base, but he singles here in the bottom of the ninth at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Oops. Okay. You know what? We're going to shuffle these cards, and I am a croupier, as you can see. I have a lot of trouble with cards, and that's one of the reasons I'm using dice for this. Plus, I'm not crazy about the BD and the CD stuff. It's okay if you like it. I'm not totally crazy. I don't think it's necessary. And I'm not using it right now. I use it when I do use the cards. So anyway, I showed off my shuffling skills, and it's going to be Dave Winfield with Mattingly on at first. Let's roll here and see what happens. And that's a 4, so that's off Romanek's card, and it's a 25 off Romanek's card. That's going to be line to right field, base hit, and Mattingly is going to hold at second. So you have first and second here in the bottom of the ninth. First played at Solon University back in 1987, perhaps the only copy of the UK. That's fascinating. I don't know. There's a guy from the UK that actually I watched him, and I think he did Statis Pro. That may be you. I don't know. He did like a Statis Pro tutorial, and I watched that, and that was cool. I don't remember if I reduced the Romanek. I think I did. That's like the first thing I did. And I don't have to check an error on the play. So it's first and second. Now Romanek is in trouble here. That's for sure. There's nobody out. First and second. It's Don Baylor, big power hitter for the Yankees at this time. Played with a bunch of teams, Don Baylor. If you remember, he played with the Yanks, but he played with the Angels, and then he played with the Red Sox. So he's played with a bunch of teams. He's a good ball player. I think he finishes out his career with the Red Sox. All right, so first and second, nobody out. Don Baylor, the batter. Romanek starter still on the mound. And that's an 8. That's going to be off Baylor's card. He seemed young enough not to have been alive in 1987. Okay. So it's going to be off Baylor's card. And that's a 17 off Baylor's card. And that's going to be a ball driven in the gap. And that's going to roll all the way to the wall. This is going to be the game-winning hit. Around comes Mattingly. He scores easily. The Yankees win. The Yankees win. Don Baylor, game-winning walk-off double off the starter, who pitched magnificently through 8 innings. And the first 3 batters here in the bottom of the ninth reached on hits. And it's Don Baylor who connects with a RBI double here in the bottom of the ninth at Yankee Stadium, and the Yankees win it by a score of 3-2. The victory is going to go to starter Joe Cowley, and the loss is going to go to Ron Romanek for the California Angels. So that was a good ball game overall. It took us to the bottom of the ninth, and it ended in a walk-off by Don Baylor. Now the game, I'll look at the time. The game took me, I believe, took me about 45 minutes, I'd say. 45 minutes, because I did take some time on the score sheet to write in the lineups, because then I wouldn't know what they are once I turned off I stopped using iScore on my phone and I turned the camera on. So I had my lineups. I did all the initials for the players. So now I have to input 3 innings. It's a good ball game. Yankees win it, which is a good thing. Their record is a little bit worse than it was in actuality. So it's a little bit of a hit on my ego as a professional tabletop baseball manager, in that my team is not doing as well as they did in actuality. So I'm having to, really focus on the managerial aspect of the game, and really, take it seriously much more than I have been. So anyway, that is Statis Pro using dice. Sans the BD and the CD. There's a way of doing it. They wrote it, but it's an extra thing for me to remember, and I don't use it. No problem, man. It's my pleasure, and it's great to hear from you, and I hope everything is great for you over there in the UK. One place my daughter wants to visit, and I promised her when she was a little girl that I would take her by her 16th birthday, and I have not lived up to that promise. It's just been hard. And this is an early morning game before I'll go to work. I usually set my clock for about 3 hours, really for an hour and a half or two before. Yeah, we got our own Brexit going here. We're headed towards the next American Civil War. But anyway, yeah, I set my alarm clock for a couple hours before I have to go to work, and I set it for an hour, but a lot of times I'll wake up like an extra hour ahead of time, and that was today, and it lets me relax a little bit more. And now I'm going to set up for the next game. The next series, I believe, is against Seattle, and then we go to Oakland, and no, Seattle comes to New York, then Oakland comes to New York. So there's a 3-game series with Seattle. And I'm going to set up for that, and I'll leave it all set up for tonight when I get home. All I have to do is start rolling, which is nice. It gives me, a way to relax and kick back. And that's about it. So I'm going to sign off from San Antonio, Texas. We replayed the 1985 game between the California Angels and the Yankees. I believe it's game 42, 43, something in that area. I don't really have the Yankees stats or their won-loss record, because that's all in the iScore in my phone. I do have iPads, but when I started, I don't know how to sync my iPhone stats with my iPads. So I have to figure out how to do that. And if I can figure out how to do that, then I can use my iPad to keep score, and I can use my camera, my phone to record. And that would make it easier for me to record these Statis Pro games. But this is only happening to me with Statis Pro because, like I said, I started this replay in the summer using my phone, and all the data is in the phone, so I have to use the phone. But anyway, that's about it. Now I'm going to bid everyone farewell, and I will see you in a few hours this afternoon with another game, probably Seattle at New York. Take care.